ACTION is an acronym for Assess, Configure, Timetable, Install, Onboard, and Nurturing.
So the assessment is our initial engagement with our customer, where we actually understand for the first time what our customer's real requirements are and understand the value of what their unique business is. It's once we get that trust, that understanding of helping them in their consulting role, that we can then understand what the value proposition is for them and actually come up with an optimum solution that both of us understand.
Once I've gathered the information, I would take it over to engineering for review. Let's go.
I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the configuration portion of the action plan. I mean, we bring in people from all the different aspects of our technical operations staff to kind of deal with any RFP or any potential contract we have for new services. If at any time during that process, especially when it's a larger RFP where there's multiple sites engaged, we may also do some field crew and some drive-bys to kind of get better ideas about what the cost is going to be to build into some of these buildings and locations that we're dealing with. Once that we do all of our research and come up with a solution, then we turn everything back into the sales management staff and they can finish up their proposal.
Once a proposal is submitted, the salesperson enters the information into CRM. Once it's entered into CRM, the legal department drafts the contract and works with the customer to get the contract executed. When all of that is complete, we notify the operations department. Come with me and I'll take you over that way.
So the project timetable begins when internal operations receives the ops notice. It prompts the senior project manager to assign a project manager. We actually hold a project plan meeting every week in order to discuss the current state of each project, just to make sure that nothing is being missed or that nothing's slipped through the cracks.
Once we receive the ops notice from our internal operations, ops notice being the actual order, as a project manager, I'm able to now begin my process in developing a timeline, as well as contacting the customer and expressing what events are going to happen. Once all this process is completed, we're given an email from either our splicing group or our network operations group.
Alright, so when we show up on site, the cable has already been pulled to the rack. And we run our tubes in and into there's a tray inside. We measure them out inside the tray to make sure that they all fit properly. Once we do that, we start our splicing. We do all fusion splicing. What it does is it fuses the fibers together to make it one cohesive piece of glass. Once we install the frame into the rack and everything's dressed down and secured, we start our OTDR testing.
Once the fiber techs have finished the testing and verified that all of the fibers are going through from point A to point Z, then that's where we pick up. We take and install electronics equipment at our node, and then we install the equipment there, or optics are connected in there at that point. And then we go to the other side, which is the customer. Once we have management up to where we can actually remotely log in to all the equipment, then we do the provisioning from that point.
Before we ever configure a circuit to our network or our DWDM network, we work with the project manager to make sure that we have the scope down pat. And what that means is we need to take some questions into account. Are we having a point-to-point circuit or an internet circuit? Is this a fiber handoff or a copper handoff? Is there equipment already in place, or is there something new that needs to be installed? What's the contracted bandwidth? And any other sort of specific questions that the customer may have or that the design may need. So for an internet circuit, we know that one end of that circuit will always be provisioned into our core routers and our edge. So because of that, we design those from the inside out. Now what that means is that we configure everything on our core routers around our metro network ring and then out towards the customer using the most optimal and redundant path that we can take. Before we ever turn over a circuit to our customers, we like to do some testing on our end to make sure that everything's been configured properly across all the network elements. We use these tests to prove that the layer 2 connectivity works from one end to the other and make sure that there's no hiccups along the way. So after we've configured everything and everything looks good on our end, we're ready to hand off to the customer. We usually send the customer a notification letting them know that, hey, your service is ready, here's the ports on the switch, here's where the switch is located, and then if it's an IP address for an internet circuit or anything like that, we'll add that to the email as well. Once all that's been sent to the customer, we then hand them off to our NOC for onboarding. I'll show you where that is.
During the onboard process, the customer now has access to a 24/7 network operations center. We will facilitate the monitoring of the services and/or receiving calls due to inquiry from a customer. We do have a system, the Cacti or traffic monitoring service, which is available to our customers. And that system will give them access or log into it, in which they can view the usage of their service or their circuit. After a customer has been onboarded, we forward that information over to the sales group and the nurturing process can begin. Come on over and let's talk to one of our sales execs.
After completion of the onboarding process, we start the phase of the proven process, which we call the nurturing phase. At this time, our sales executives initiate and implement our quarterly contacts with our customers.
It's all about maintaining contact with the companies and all of the company contacts. It lets them know we care about them, we care about their business of goals and objectives, and we want to partner with them to work together so that everyone benefits. They can take advantage of all the new service and technologies to help their businesses grow. And that quarterly contact ensures that the relationship is mutually beneficial. We're doing everything we possibly can, and it's proactive. It's not like you're going to leave them, you're staying with them, and it really explains to a customer, we care. We want to be there with you, we want to grow with you, and we want to do everything we can to make sure that your core business is successful.
We are known as the go-to company in Houston. We are nimble and can think out of the box. We provide customized solutions to our carrier accounts.
One of the gratifying things working at PS LIGHTWAVE is the commitment to our customers. Once we complete a project, it's just the start of a long relationship with our customer that we want to nurture and grow.